Hey y'all, are you ready to get your home and your family life all cozied up for fall? Yes, I'm in a dress that's sleeveless. Yes, I live in Florida. Yes, it's still 85 degrees. Whatever, it's almost October. Let's do this. It's worth noting that generally speaking, I'm more a minimalist than a maximalist. So here are some minimalist ways to help your family transition into the seasons naturally, like happens in nature. Let's let it happen in our family so that we can have a more cozy, enjoyable family time. So my first thing that I would suggest to do as you're getting ready for the fall season and you really want to dive in is to think about your routines and rhythms and to change them up. We're going to naturally have different things if you have kids who are in school. That makes it a little bit different than summer. But think about some of the routines that you have around the house. One of my favorite okay, it's just something I do every day, that I do is in the evening, I make sure all the overhead lights are off and I turn on lamps. This is something super simple but feels cozy. This could be reading time that you have with the kids or any time that you spend kind of sitting around chatting. You could do it in the living area where you have some, your cozy blankets and different seating that you can spend together. So the key, I feel like, is to use this as a time to feel like you're connecting and you're warming up and cozying up beside each other. I feel like there's a lot of bonding that happens in the fall. Think about what time you go to sleep. Now this might be where you eat. Maybe it's lovely if you're like I am in Florida. It's nice to sometimes eat outside when it's a little bit cooler. This might be the time of day you go on a family walk. It might be you're doing more things in nature. So think about the rhythms that you have within your family and how you can adapt those for the season. I actually have an entire workshop called Family Routines Reboot, and this is where we talk about how to create family routines, child routines, how to help your child develop a routine that they keep on their own, and how self-care, taking care of yourself, finding time for yourself. I made an entire workshop on this, and you can find it at amotherfarfromhome.com/reboot. The second thing that you can do for your family to get yourself settled into the fall season is to go into your closets, into the kids' closets, and do sort of a shift. So if you have all the kids' stuff in one place, you can put all of the more fall clothes, the clothes they're gonna need, to the front, and you can move some of the bathing suits or whatever the case may be to the back. And in your own closet, this can be something that's actually kind of fun to do. The things that are in the pride of place, that are easiest to get to, you wanna go put your clothes that you're gonna be wearing for the fall there. Now, if you're in the sort of pre-fall, post-summer transition, this can look different, okay? You might not want to put everything in storage yet. I know that there have been times I've done a real closet changeover and then it was like, oh, actually in the spring sometimes, and it's freezing again and I have no clothes. So you might want to just set them aside, whatever the case may be, but get your closet, go through it again. What did I wear last year? What did I not wear? What do I want to get rid of? Is there anything that I need that I don't have, etc., etc. Just use it as kind of an enjoyable time. I've actually started putting on ambiances whenever I'm just sitting around or I'm working, and it's just something on YouTube that has some pleasing sounds and a nice environment. So put on an ambiance and go into your closet, listen to some music, whatever. Get into a cozy vibe, get a nice drink, and start to reorganize your closet and get it ready for the upcoming season. And you can do this for all your kids' closets as well. My third tip is to settle into your main living areas, the areas you spend the most amount of time. This might even be the kitchen, and to really focus your fallifying efforts in there. So this might be foraging for some flowers, or it might be getting some fake pumpkins, some real pumpkins, putting some cozy blankets, or having a new dish where your fruit goes, but it's a pumpkin dish instead of a normal one. I'm not thinking of anything elaborate, things you have on hand, or even things that you have on hand that are just orange or yellowish, the mustard color, something that just reminds you of fall. You don't have to go overboard with seasonal decorating, you really don't, but there's just something special about adding a few touches here or there that touch on the season that you're in, and it just feels like a wholesome thing to do, I guess is what I want to say. And I think it's great with the world out there having just so much junk going on. It's great for the home to just have a wholesome feel. You know what I mean? The fourth tip I have for helping your home feel more cozy and getting ready into this fall season is to look at and revisit your recipes and your cooking habits. I don't know if you're like me, but I get in some serious funks, and then I have about 5 or 6 go-to meals, and then I just make them all the time. And I don't actually care about this. I think this is fine overall. But when I decide to come out of it, or when I want to add in 1 or 2 new recipes a week, I like to make it seasonal. So this might mean you're gonna look at some soups, or you're gonna now get out the Instant Pot or the slow cooker, because now we're gonna move into a season where there's more warm, hot foods as opposed to lighter things in the summer. So this is kind of an exciting time to almost refresh yourself, get back in the groove, think, you know what? We're not gonna eat out. I'm a cook. I'm gonna do it. It's fall. I'm gonna make something. This is how I've been feeling lately. You can go on lots of websites. I just recently found a website, actually it's called Budget Bites. I thought it was interesting since food prices are going up so much that she actually lists out, this gets a flexible, depending on where you live, prices are different, but she actually lists out to make the whole recipe per serving. It's something to consider. This can help you feel a little bit more rejuvenated. Maybe for snacks, you want to do some more like pumpkin breads or banana breads. Just kind of think about, instead of going through the same old foods you always make, you can incorporate some new seasonal foods. So the last tip I have to kind of help your home feel a bit more seasonal and cozy and to feel like you're kind of jumping into the fall is to switch out your books. So now this is something that I have always loved to do and I love to do. Obviously I love books. When they built my bookshelves, they were like, what is the weight you need these bookshelves to hold? And I was like, they're bookshelves. I need them to hold books. So heavy, you know what I mean? Anyway, I obviously love books and I love kid books and we've always read to the kids a lot. And my mom was a retired school teacher and she loved to give them books as well. So we have lots of books that pertain to the seasons. Fall books, Thanksgiving books, harvest books, apple picking books, you know the drill. So sometimes what I like to do, if I have actual seasonal decorations, I like to keep the seasonal books with the decorations. That way I remember them. They don't kind of get looked at all year and ignored because then they lost the novelty and the luster. So Christmas books do the same. I have my Christmas kid books with my decorations. But anyway, I'll get them out and I'll put them somewhere where the kids will see them and they'll actually flip through them. So this is something fun to do. I also like to do this myself. So I might go back into my son. You can't see the books back there, but right there, there's a bunch of blue books and those are Hardy Boy books. The Hardy Boy books and the Nancy Drew books, there's something about them that feels super back to school and fallish. I like to read those, or I like to pick out certain books that make me feel cozy, you know? So while I'm talking about books, I want to share these and I'll link them all below, but this is one of my favorites. It's a Thanksgiving one, but for a fall theme. Sharing the Bread, an old-fashioned Thanksgiving story. It's lovely. The illustrations are so pretty. It's just a lovely book. It ties in some history. I think your kids will love it. Now, I had never heard of Richard Scarry until I lived in Australia or England, but I love his books. They are amazing. So this is a fun one to market. Just kind of looks fallish. We got like a turkey over here. And so you can even just pick books that like have falling leaves, things are happening in harvest and that type of thing. This is a good one. As a bonus, I couldn't resist this one. I've been doing this recently. To really kind of take advantage of that cozy feel, something I like to do is just to purposely get a cup of coffee if it's the morning, or maybe it's like an herbal bedtime nighty-night tea, to sit with a blanket and with a book and just sit up and read. You know, purposely put my phone down, put my phone away if it's closer to bedtime, and just read a book. Or even just sometimes, like this is gonna sound wild and crazy, sometimes I'll just sit there and stare, you know, just to have a bit of silence, a bit of peace. There's something about having that peace and quiet that feels so good. I'll light some candles, you know, just to try to make the home cozy. And actually I found these candles recently. Let me get them. Enter this. Oh. And they have a timer. Well, I've been putting these all over the house and that makes me feel a little bit cozy as well. So that's just like an extra fun tip to cozify your house. So you can put some candles by your actual bedside table and just to really feel like you're enjoying that sensory feeling of warm and coziness for fall. And you can do this for your kids too. Kids love entering into that. I think whenever we make a point to enjoy the seasons and we make a point to engage in the world around us like that, the kids really do enjoy it. And they're doing this at school anyway. They're already getting into the season at school. So I think this is just a fun way for us to bond with the kids and just slow down a little and have a great fall season. As always, thanks for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and leave me a comment of what your favorite thing to do is in the fall with your kids. And be sure to watch the next video.